convention, whether you came for the entire convention or stayed for part. And I thank you for coming. But now the work is to be done. I announced Saturday that we're going on now to do a mobilizing around the country of our voters. We're going after the people that have banned DEI, and we're going to also unquestionably deal with the Affordable Care Act and the Voting Rights Act. That's the four things we came out of the convention. The timeline as we drop them, because we're going on tour this to make this a movement all the way into the midterm elections. We have no choice but to organize and to make this stuff happen. Our families cannot sustain itself without health care. Our communities cannot sustain itself without the right to vote. So let's back and hear your thoughts. I want some of you that came to convention, call in and call us 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
I remember I was 12 years old. I was a boy preacher in the Church of God in Christ. Bishop Shear knew my bishop, Bishop Washington. Bishop Washington, my mother was concerned I was getting into politics. They brought us to Reverend William Jones. His daughter's traveling with us. And Reverend Jones introduced me to Jesse Jackson. I became his youth director in New York at 13. I liked Reverend Jackson because he was a little hipper than the older preachers. He was 27, I was 13 by the time I became youth director. So he was like a father figure to me. When I got about 40, he said, quit calling me father, call me big brother. We went to the car center, and James Meeks and Jesse Jr. and I had dinner with him that night. And that's where he said to us, Al, me, Jesse Jr., y'all are my disciples. And we said, disciples? And for years we joked each other. I'd come in the room and Junior said, here's disciple number one. But discipleship meant you carried forth the vision. The next day, he took me on the ferry to Goree Island, Mrs. Jackson. On Goree Island, he showed me where the slave camps were. And I will never forget, he said, Al, you see what that artifact is? I said, what's that? He said, they call it the door of no return. When you go through that door, you either made it to America to slavery, or you died in the Atlantic. The door of no return. But I talked to him about 3 years ago. And I reminded him, I said, remember you brought me to the door of no return? He said, yeah. I said, well, we did return. We returned the President of the United States, Barack Obama. We returned the Vice President, Kamala Harris. We returned with businessmen. They thought they sent us as slaves. We came back as global liberators. The problem is that too many of us sponsors. And there was a breakout in 2024 called Negro Amnesia, where you forgot where you came from and forgot how you got where you got. Therefore, they're trying to take back everything you had.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, "The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born." I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age He was about 12. Wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend. Earl the Pearl, Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old. With the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go to the message board at nationalactionnetwork.net and go to live stream. A lot of people came to the convention, a lot of press, and I think it's important. I see Roderick McCullough said, I wasn't able to attend the convention, but I did get a chance to see it on YouTube. You, Ashley, Dominique, and everyone did a great job. Thank you. All right, Roderick, thank you. I see Disco Brian said, NAN convention dominated headlines. Kudos to the Sharptons, documentarian Daniel, and the rest of the National Action Network crew for a spectacular experience. Well, thank you, and I think it was good. Then Tanya Stovall says they always have a group of church pastors to discuss the things they're doing to help improve their communities. The church pastors are voters too, and that's part of what we do. We have a ministers' luncheon. A lot of we come out of the black church. I don't apologize for that. I saw one person, it went through saying that they don't agree that church folks should be involved in politics. Jesus said you can't serve two masters. You don't understand politics. The idea of getting in politics is so you won't have a master. If you vote and you have enough people that vote with you, you are in charge, or you get rid of the politician. To have somebody become president is not your master. It's someone that you make sure is accountable. You didn't see Jesus say that we shouldn't have rulers and leaders in that society. He said that the wicked shouldn't have it. Let's not distort. I mean, you can have whatever view you want, but don't act like Jesus said that. Let's quote him right. Let's go to the phones. Let me start, as I love to start every week, with my dear friend, the beloved Miss Eunice in Chicago. Miss Eunice?
Good afternoon, Rev. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. And I would like to say congratulations on a successful convention, as I expected it would be. And I'm also congratulating and thank God for the cosmonauts who had success in the space travel, along with all the others involved.
Yeah.
And moving right along, Reverend, I'm baffled by all the things that Trump continues to do. Republicans remain silent, and they are no better than he is. They're complicit. And what will it take to thread the needle? Can you tell me?
I mean, I think that to thread the needle is a. I mean, I think if we've got to convince our people, let me put it that way, that they've tried everything, and let me tell you something. They're gonna have some people out here now, some provocateurs that's going to try to defend Trump. And the way they're going to try to defend Trump is by telling people don't vote. Or that none of the officials are good. And I think that the way we got to thread the needle is on our interests. That's why in my president's address Saturday, I said the priorities are voting rights. You have to protect our right to vote, otherwise we won't get anything in. Secondly, we've got to preserve health care. Thirdly, we've got to protect where we spend our dollars. And we have got to, above all, get the vote out. Not only protect it, but get it out. And I'm going on a 24-city tour. I'm taking y'all with me and we'll do my show from the road. I think talk is over. Talk is cheap. And one guy came to the convention talking about, well, we shouldn't vote till we get reparations. I said, first of all, who you going to get reparations from if you don't vote? You going to pay yourself? That ain't reparations. That's you investing in yourself. You got to vote to get reparations. Now, either you are stupid or you an agent. You got one or both.
Nonsensical talk. And could you believe Vance went to campaign for Orban of Hungary? He was ousted after 16 years, and when people take a stand, it's over. And with all these marches across the country, the elected officials sit by and do nothing. It's going to take the people to take them out of office and say, we've had enough. Enough is enough, and too much stinks. And thank you for taking my call, and I'll talk to you again Friday.
I appreciate your call. I'll be looking for you Friday. Let me go to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio. Demetrius.
Hey, thank you, Rev Sharpton. It's nice talking to you. I just want to speak. First of all, to me, it's very serious. Donald Trump think he's some divine person. Because when he think like that, and some of his backers give him that belief, he thinks he's above the law. That's why he said he wanted to impose tariffs on China. They giving aid to Iran. Now he haven't closed down the prison in Florida, like the law told him to do. The judge told him to, because it's in a place where they can destroy the environment. But he's still sending immigrants there. He's still sending immigrants to other countries. All this because some of his backers trying to make him a divine person. But he feel like he's not responsible to anybody in the world. He think he's a super divine being. He don't have to follow any human laws. He go to other countries, take their resources. He's not responsible to the United Nations. He's not responsible to NATO. He's not responsible to his own party, because he's taking advantage of those conservatives who voted him in office. Because they're the ones suffering as well with oil prices. They're the one who's not backing his exploits in Iran and in Venezuela. And so now he's turning against the Pope. So he's really putting himself above everything. Surely going to the Bible when it said at the end of the world, the person gonna try to put himself in a place of God. So this is exactly what he's doing. And all of this because people who back him, they don't want to give the right to vote to all individuals. They want to hold on to power. They will do whatever it takes to stop people from going to the polls. Now people have a proper education, so they want to move up in society. Now they created a monster who don't care about them. They care about nobody except making money and trying to spread supremacy, racial supremacy. That's part of his agenda as well.
Oh yeah.
So the only way to bring them down, people have to come together, put pressure on those who are in office. The Congress, the Senate. You have to go out and protest and do whatever it takes. Because just like they put pressure on the Democratic Party to not let Joe Biden run, you have to put pressure on to remove Donald Trump from office. Because he don't have the attitude, to hold that office mentally, and he also have an ego problem. He want to take over, and he can't hold that office, take advantage of the American people, and discriminate against those who don't have nothing to the color of their skin because they economic status. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you for your call, Demetrius. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. More of you on the phones, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And I see somebody on the message board that flashed off, said that we should ask all the governors that were on, are they grooming somebody to take their place that is black? I can't believe you asked that. Pritzker just had his black woman lieutenant governor and got her elected U.S. Senate. Governor Beshear in Kentucky just ran a black man for attorney general. I mean, why would I sit up there and make myself look stupid when they obviously have done that? Do a little research before you start asking questions. Just a little bit. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. That's what I do. Sharpton. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I got to correct your information. Be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the
This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it?
It's simple. Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden.
Reverend Sharpton, good to see you here tonight. By our count at WMUR, you've only been here once in 2003.
You counted wrong.
Okay.
You must be using the Florida Republicans count.
Nevertheless, as far as your visits are concerned, you have been here far less often than your colleagues here who have gone through the paces, met with the voters, done the grassroots style of campaigning that the voters of New Hampshire are expecting and looking for. Why shouldn't those very same voters not think of you as disrespecting them by not coming here and doing the same thing?
Well, I think, first of all, I've been here several times last year and this year. I intend to be here. In fact, I was to preach here Sunday, and the snow stopped me. I intend to be here between now and the primary. And I think that's any more than any of us. There are many places that some of my colleagues have not been to often at all. I think that people go and campaign based on their resources and their availability. So I think that that is not something that they should read into any of us about any particular primary. I also want to address your first question. As a minister, I think that you can have a personal motivation of religion, but you should not try to act like your religion is something that dictates where people ought to go. I pray every day. I can assure you in my talks with God, he is not a registered member of the right wing of the Republican Party.
Today, many of those same challenges still remain that Reverend Al Sharpton stood on the 2004 Democratic primary debate stage and spoke about, a clear reminder that the work is far from over. For over 35 years, the commitment to justice has remained strong. The fight continues, the voice is steady, and the mission moves forward.
Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge, and we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI, we supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI, and went in several cities around Costco's and Sharpton. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational National Action Network convention covering the span of activity. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797, or go to nationalactionnetwork.net live stream, and you can go on the message board and send a message. I'll read it on the air, and I will also, you can watch us do the show live. Don't forget, every Saturday and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now. And also, don't forget that, and we had a great weekend. I had both nights showed clips of the presidential candidates at our convention, just the highlights. And then I had our roundtables give analysis. And then I also had, I really enjoyed having last night around the economic issues, both personal and public. and the author of a new book, John Hope Bryant, was very good. And having on Congresswoman McClellan from Virginia. You that are listening in Virginia, put Martise Chisholm on the side. I want to read her. You from Virginia, they're having a ballot initiative to try and trick you to try and vote against your interests, saying redistricting is a Klan plan. No, that want to stop the redistricting. No, they are definitely trying to get you to draw lines that will save Republicans and the right wing. So I was glad to have her on last night. Make sure you watch every week. I'm always going to have the people right in the thick of the issues. And when I found out about that referendum and they were sending out misinformation, like I saw somebody here say, Remal, while y'all doing the convention, they had a lot of trawlers on. They have misinformation agents. Haven't you noticed that the last time Trump ran, there was a lot of criticism, a lot of stuff on the Democrats, a lot of stuff on this one, and just all kind of stuff. Idiots telling me to pay my taxes like I owe taxes. Years ago, 12 years ago, they did an audit and said I had to pay more. I ain't had a tax problem since. But they will troll you because they're assigned to do that. And when everybody's not doing nothing, you don't hear from them. Because they are, like I said, stupid or agents. Let me go. Martise. Pull up, I can't. Okay. Martise Chisholm said, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton and Nan family. Thank you for a powerful and inspiring convention. Truly put fire in my belly and renewed my commitment to the movement and the work before us. I'm deeply honored and grateful. Let me see the bottom of it. To the National Action Network. I can't see the end of this. It goes off. But I think she said she's honored and grateful to the National Action Network and the work they're doing there in Tennessee. But whatever reason, it's cutting off on my screen. All right, but I thank you, Sister Chisholm, and you, Chisholm, for being there and bringing a whole crowd from Tennessee. I think that all our chapters that came in, Maureen came in, Maureen Forte with our Illinois folk, Reverend Bush from our Las Vegas chapter had a big contingent. Of course, our Sacramento, California chapter, another big, Reverend Porter. And on and on and on, all the way from California, Texas, showed up big time with our Commissioner Rodney Ellis, who's on the national board. Florida is big time. Georgia, absolutely. Thanking all of you that came, and I think it was the most well-earned tribute to Nan on his 35th year that we had the largest convention in our 35-year history in terms of attendance and in terms of prominence. You know, the news coverage was all on the presidential candidates, and that's rightfully so, because we need to make them come before us and state issues on our direct interest. And that's why all but one, I said, let's do fireside chats where I can ask them questions rather than them making a speech and just say what they want to say. And I think that it was very pertinent that we did it that way. Broderick, is that Brother Rick? Okay, it's Brother Rick, 195, saying, hey, Rev Al, congratulations on a wonderful 35th anniversary convention. When you have a chance, please check out Google's definition of the Antichrist. All right, hey, I think I'll do that. And Anja 4906 is saying, good afternoon, Reverend Al. I just got an alert message from ABC News that said Donald Trump did not realize the AI generated message depicted Jesus, but instead he thought it was a picture of a doctor. Well, if he's a Christian and supposed to worship Jesus, he would know the pictures they use of Jesus. I mean, I know we ain't going for that. And a doctor don't put his hand down healing and looks angelic. He knew exactly what he was doing. I can't believe people be stupid enough to go for that, but they might. Let's go to Rick in Germany. Rick, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good day, Brother Sharpton.
Good day.
I want to say congratulations on an outstanding convention. I saw a few of the speakers. I haven't watched the whole tape, but I saw Cory Booker. I saw Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, and I saw the former astronaut and Senator Mark Kelly, and I was impressed. I think the Democrats can field a better crop of candidates to deal with whoever comes after Trump in 2028. But also, I would like to say to your audience, I push the vote, but I have not voted since the election of Barack Obama. And I would say to the young black men, the poor black men, voting is in your interest. It is in your interest, definitely. Not only voting, but working. And you can't build family without a job. And last, I would ask you about this supposed story where the Pentagon threatened the Pope. Do you believe that story, or is that misinformation?
I have not. I just heard the story. I've not been able to double down and find out where the source is of the story. It does not surprise me, but I'm not going to say that it is legit until I've checked it out. So stay tuned. I'll probably get my answer because I got my team on the TV on my TV shows, separate teams, separate workers, digging in from there. But I'm glad you raised it, Rick. Thank you for your call. Let me take my break. We'll be right back. More of you on the phones. Hot Button Monday, keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Go back. President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to. And we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge. And we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI. We supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI. And went in several cities around Costco's and Sharpton. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational national action at our convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the black church, how we deal with black women development that has to deal with both discrimination based on gender and race. And of course, we came to Wall Street by the thousands and marched in late summer on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And people thought you could not get people out, and they came from all over the country. And we marched on Wall Street and had an enormous turnout. The only mass black march, black-led march this year. We had a lot of protests, a lot of marches. I salute all No Kings marches and all. But the black called Black Organization March, it welcomed everybody. We had white, black, everybody there. Was our march on Wall Street in August. And then our Triumph Award and on into our fall agenda of organizing, mobilizing. We've expanded. We've started chapters in about 12 new cities. So I am proud of what we've done this year, but it's only the beginning, because our very rights are under attack, and they're not even being quiet about it. They want to revoke the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 may fall with this bill. They want to end the Civil Rights Act of 64. That's what the end of DEI is about. So let us be more alert and active than ever. History will decide whether the civil rights gains of the 50s and 60s died in the 2020s. That's on your watch and mine. So if we've got to march, we have to protest, we have to lobby, we have to rally, whatever we need to do, we need to put our shoulder to the wheel more than ever. I'm going to lay out a plan on King Day, both in Harlem at our annual event and in Washington at our annual Martin Luther King Day breakfast that we do in D.C. We do 2 cities that day. And then, of course, all roads lead to New York, April for our convention. We had, as I said, the largest attended convention last year in 2025. It needs to be more this year because our very existence is at stake. We also are closing our negotiations on a new headquarters, our national headquarters that befit our mission. I'm so excited about it, but I can't give you details. We're just about ready to sign the contract, but it will be something that will last longer than many of our lifetimes. So we came alive in 25, despite a hostile administration, despite the fact that a lot of people were intimidated and spooked into silence. We came alive in 25. Now we have to straighten out tricks in 26. I need you, we need each other. Let's do this. All these tricks, don't forget, Trump only won by 1.5%. He is trying to act like he has a mandate. No, he has a mission, Project 2025. We have the mandate that we can't let them undo what has been done. And we must even go further for the empowerment of all people. Happy New Year. and be focused. This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it?
Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden.
We have a short visit today. So we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We want to go yeah. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine.
Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and Tanya Stovall is saying on our message board, no one can explain the ignorance and arrogance of Trump and his actions. Hakeem, I guess she's sending that to Hakeem, and Hakeem had asked me something I was reading during the break. Says, Reverend Sharpton, Hakeem Smith, this is, you ain't answer my question. Explain to me why Trump placed a Navy blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, knowing darn well gas prices are high here and going higher. I think inherent in your question is the answer, Akeem. He doesn't care. You're absolutely right. He knows this blockade that he started 10 o'clock this morning, which in effect is a blockade on the blockade, Because the Iranians already had a blockade. They had closed down the strait. That's what the whole conflict's about. So he's going to blockade the blockade, which only makes it worse. Stocks, all that. He is playing serious Russian roulette with the American economy, and he doesn't care. And we have got to make him care. Let me withdraw that. Don't make him care. We got to start caring about ourselves. And if it means voting or rallying or marching or whatever you do, it's an expression of self-worth and self-caring. But just to adjust and sit there and accept this stuff like you are not worthy of anything else is absolutely wrong.
Got Antoine C. right.
I think that, to me, voting is a question of self-esteem and self-value. Any and everything I could do to affirm my rights, my dignity, and my worth, I'm going to do it. And it's just that simple. How did we go? Let me put it this way. How did we go from slavery to emancipation? Because the Confederates lost. Then they regained power after Lincoln was killed Reconstruction. So anybody sitting up here, how do we go from sitting in the back of the bus to having fair accommodation? Well, that don't mean nothing, Rambo. It meant something when we had to sit on the back of the bus. It meant something we couldn't use a toilet. We can't let people beat down the achievements we have done that they take advantage of. You go to work every day, you work for somebody else, but you want everybody else to do an overnight revolution and free you. Come on. You are not that loose. Like I say, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, you're either an provocateur or stupid. Let me go to the live line. Our co-host every Monday kicking off our week and is noted political strategist, CEO of Blueprint Strategies, the one and only Antoine C. Wright. How you doing, Antoine?
Good to be with you on this Hot Button Monday, Reverend Al.
Good to have you with us. Give me your assessment of the failure of the Vance, J.D. Vance, going out and trying to, in his one day, mediate and come to a conclusion of the Iranian war while the president was at a UFC fight.
He failed on two notes. He failed on the election of Viktor Orban, a known dictator and not a good person. J.D. Vance used our taxpayers' dollars to go there and quote-unquote campaign with him. So he failed in that regard. And then he failed to secure what most people knew he was going to fail at, securing some sort of ceasefire or agreement between Iran and the other interested parties involved. And I think that says one or two things. One, it shows that the rest of the world does not fear the United States as we once did. Two, they do not respect the office of the vice presidency and the role of the vice presidency as it once did. And number three, it also shows that the president wants to use J.D. Vance as bait to the alligators, and he does not care if he gets swallowed up on the line, both politically and from a national security perspective. In those cases, it's traditional that you send out the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, to do high-level negotiating, talk ceasefire, along with the vice president. That has been consistent throughout history, Democratic and Republican administrations. We didn't see that. And as I said on your TV program Sunday, J.D. Vance was one of the most outspoken critics of no new wars as a candidate for the vice presidency, and so his America First principles have been crushed as a result of Donald Trump putting him out there as bait to the alligators for the simple sake of failing.
Let me go to message board. Manuel Murphy says, Reverend Al, I tuned in to Nan's convention. It was awesome. Well, thank you, Manuel. Marcia Barrow says, the convention was definitely life-changing. To see Kamala in person with the baby was truly appreciated. I'm forever changed. I'm moving in my purpose. I will stand up and fight back. I'm going to raise hallelujah in this environment so she can have a chance. All right, that's Marcia writes like she was at the convention to say she saw Kamala. Let's go to Disco Brian, WURD in Philadelphia. I definitely saw him at the convention.
You saw me, and Rev, I saw you give me a little bit of a stink eye because I almost started heckling Representative Ro Khanna, and your daughter Ashley was sitting in front of me, and she recognized me by the sound of my voice, and I apologized. I said, Ashley, she said, no, you're an activist. You need to use your voice.
We don't stop people heckling. I just tell them, let the people finish the sentence because we're on television. Then say what you got to say, but go ahead.
No, it was an honor because she said, I love your voice. And I was like, I almost started crying, Rev. Anyhow, I'm collecting myself for the call now. The reason I almost heckled Representative Khanna, Rev, is because the night before he was on stage with you, he was scolding Democratic leaderships for, quote, barely making a whimper about Trump's genocidal threats against Iran, demanding Dem leaders to, quote, get out, and claimed to speak for the base and gave credit to, quote, progressives and, quote, anti-war conservatives, even tagging Tucker Carlson as a leader in this regard. So, Rev, I checked the record. Schumer, Jeffries, and CBC Chair Yvette Clarke have all repeatedly demanded an immediate end to Trump's war. So with all due respect to Roe, if you're listening, Roe, the problem is not Democratic leadership. The problem is the Republicans you praised who are responsible for returning Trump to the White House. And speaking of which, Rev, during your chat with MVP Harris, which was spectacular, and from the 3 days I was there, got the loudest applause, rightfully so, I realized that she may be one of the only Democrats that I would trust to go on Joe Rogan, because she'd be the rare exception who would not get played by that slippery snake. And by the way, on that account, Rev, Joe Rogan, who's been making headlines for supposedly breaking with Trump over ICE in the Iran war, greeted Trump a couple nights ago with smiles and hugs at the UFC event. Yeah. So this is how we get played, Rev. But again, I think MVP Harris could do it. I think she could hold her ground. And Rev, when I got home and back to my YouTube feed, sadly, I wanted to share three things that were competing with your amazing headlines that you made. Number one, I see that Bernie made it to New York but missed the convention. Instead, he joined a union rally with Mom Donnie and Randy Weingarten last night, warning that if Democrats want, quote, our support, they must become, quote, the party of the working class.
That was last night?
That was last night, yes,
okay.
sir.
Well, we had finished the convention.
Once again,
Mandani and Randy was at the convention, by the way, but go ahead.
Absolutely. And number two, Ilhan Omar, who was also not at NAN, found time to travel to California and sit right beside Hassan Piker on his Twitch stream, and as did Jon Favreau, whose Crooked Media is now part of MS Now's weekend lineup. He spent over an hour with Hassan Piker. And Rev, if I can, here's a brief transcript of their exchange. And this is their exchange in the wake of your name coming up. So apparently Hassan Piker knows who you are. Favreau says, quote, a bunch of potential presidential candidates were at Sharpton's event in New York. How do you see your role in electoral politics over the next few years? And Piker says this, Rev. I see myself as a megaphone for the people. If you're running for office, you want to be able to convince my audience that you're their guy. And it's interesting because they've been writing about how Democrats shouldn't associate with me, but a lot of people are like, quote, this is clearly a massive audience. You have the capacity to communicate with young men especially, and we want to be able to reach out to those people that we've lost, end quote. Then Favreau fecklessly tries to corner Piker and says, hey, you have said you wouldn't vote for Gavin Newsom against J.D. Vance in 2028, that you'd vote third party. So he tries to get Piker to say, okay, yeah, I would swallow my pride and convince people to vote for the lesser of two evils, as he did not do in 2024 with Kamala Harris. And Piker concludes with this, Rev. Of course, I hate Republicans, and my frustration is with the Democrats who bring out Liz Cheney. Once again, Rev, he goes back.
Wait a minute. I want you to finish this, and I want to take my break and let you finish this and let Antoine respond. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Well, Reverend, it looks bad now. Look at Iran. Look at what's going on in Minnesota. Look on. Yeah, but I was raised by them to realize that after storms, if we do the right thing in the storm, if we organize, if we register, if we do what we're supposed to do, there's always a rainbow coming out. The rainbow don't show until the storm is over. The rainbow gonna come out in November. The rainbow gonna come out in 28. We're gonna fix these tricks in 26 and march through the gates in 28. We didn't come this far to turn around now. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back.
It's simple.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me, and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustling, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just break. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned. People keeping it real. I'm your host. Remember now, Reverend Al Sharpton. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Let me go back to Disco Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
Yes, Rev. So my point that I was making earlier is just, it's simple, right? Hassan Piker, like Mehdi Hassan and Mayor Mamdani, continue to trash MVP Harris for her decision to campaign with open anti-Trump Republican and member of the January 6th committee, Liz Cheney, but don't seem nearly as troubled by their own contradictions when coalition politics run to their advantage, as it does with Mamdani's open private text exchange relationship with Trump and his multiple photo ops at the White House. And that is what makes Piker's closing argument to Jon Favreau on Pod Save America this weekend so telling. And it is this, quote, he says to Favreau, quote, if you want to win, you would do everything in your power to talk to people on your left flank. And we're seeing that now better than ever before with people like Plattner in Maine, right? That you can actually be an outspoken leftist that says, I'm pro-Medicare for all. I'm anti-Zionist. I'm anti-genocide. You have candidates like that winning, at least, inshallah, winning in places like Maine and hopefully unseating Republicans, end quote. And so I would love to hear both of your commentary on where you think we should go with what I believe to be a real thief in the temple in the form of this blatant I would say he's an anti-black political figure, influencer, Hassan Piker. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you for your call. I think, let me let you go first, Antoine. How do you feel about reaching out to people like Pike? How do you feel about the left wing as he raised those issues?
A couple of things. I think we have to take care of what is consistent in our community first, and I don't mean just the black community, I mean in the Democratic community. What has been consistent, as I said on your program, and not because I was on your program and not because I'm on this program today, the road to heaven and the White House runs through South Carolina, but there's a pit stop at National Action Network's annual convention. It's a must, not a plus. And what we have to do as a party is we've got to lean in and be consistent with institutions that have been consistent to us. What you have at NAN, like at most African-American conventions or gatherings, you have a combination of faith, you have a combination of advocacy, action, as well as consistency and trust at those institutions. I can't speak for the net worth or the net worth of some of these names that are mentioned in the podcast world and all those things. What I do know is podcasters come and podcasters come and go. Influencers come and go. But there's some institutional voices that have not changed and have survived the test of time. I think that's where we have to leave our attention. Now, that being said, I don't think we should neglect anything or anyone because politics is always a game of expansion. However, I think we have to prioritize what's important in this moment. In this moment, we've got to strengthen our base and find out what those needs are before we go trying to get cute. Right off tackle 5 yards at a time, Rep, instead of trying to do these long, these down the play halfback toss passes, because we've seen how that has led to failure for us as a party and as a community.
All right, let me go to Brother Jacob in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WURD. Brother Jacob. Is Brother Jacob there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you now, yes.
Okay, yeah. I say peace be unto you, your worldwide listeners, and your guests there. Man, it's Hot Button Monday, but, I'm glad to hear what you said you was going on the road, man. I remember as a musician, I used to say to Harold Melvin or McFadden White, I said, man, when we was on the road, on the road again, we used to sing that Willie Nelson song,
Right.
Because we gotta, as Americans, we gotta go for broke on this one, right?
Oh, no doubt.
And we have to, we gotta work like our ancestors would want us to act, right? And I ain't just talking about black ancestors, Italian ancestors, Irish, Chinese, whatever American label you say, LGBTQIA ancestors fought for this democracy, this republic, this freedom. And this is where we can use all hands on deck. And I was so glad to hear that VP Harris might want to run again, because it would give all freedom-loving Americans a chance to redeem themselves, because now they see. I mean, if you can't see now, Harold Melvin and them had to tune. If you don't know him by now, you ain't never gonna know him. And the vote, man, the vote, it's become so easy for me. It's almost like it's two things. You vote good or you vote for the bad and the ugly. And that other thing is bad and ugly. It's both of them. So I'm gonna always go for the good. But Reverend Al, lastly, that black pilot of this Artemis 2 moon mission thing, man, he made a comment when he looked down at this blue marble that we call Earth.
Right.
They asked him, he said he saw one humanity, one place that God Almighty gave us all to live, and God wants us to live in peace. So we got to rumble, young man, rumble, right, Rev?
An old Ali slogan, but it is appropriate today, no doubt about it. Thank you for your call. Go ahead. Go ahead. You had something else? All right.
No, I'm just saying that it's easy, Rev. Man, look, I hope you come to Philadelphia way on that bus thing, man.
Oh, don't worry about it. And our Philly chapter was up here big time. They may be the second or third stop, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, thank you for your call. Antoine, a lot of people have different views on who should run, who should win. And like I said, there were probably more candidates than this early. But we've been doing this for the last 5 cycles. Other than when I ran, we didn't do it in 2004, but we've been doing it since 2020. I think the question is not, in my opinion, who we should support at this early time, because I think that it is clearly early in deciding whether it's Kamala or Westmore or whoever, Bashir. The question is making sure that they come and are held accountable before us and lay out what they're talking about. Not who will run, but what will run.
Well, Rev, I can tell you this. I've been doing this so long, and believe it or not, to where I recognize, like most people do, as Tyson said, the worst thing you can do in politics is peak too soon. And I've seen candidates, including one I worked for in 2008, who came to the presidential process as the quote-unquote front runner, and everybody thought that she was going to walk smoothly to the nomination, and there would be no questions asked, no doubt about it. And then along came this barely no-name-known state senator, former state senator who first U.S. senator named Barack Obama, where most people couldn't pronounce his name, and he became the nominee and went on to be president. And so I think that what's happening now is a lot of people making assumptions about what people's current jobs are. I think we've got to be focused on what these people will offer us between now and every election cycle leading up to 2028. That's 26, 27, and then we look at 2028. I think that is going to tell us a lot about what the 2028 platform and candidate schedule looks like.
Ain't no doubt about it. And Hakeem Jeffries, who was at the convention as he is every year, really made a strong case for 26. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. See right. Be right back. Keeping it real. This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it?
have a Sharpton birthday. So we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in.
Yes, sir. We want to go with gold. Yeah, we was here. They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation.
Wow.
And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses. Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Good.
Right, last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying here?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have slavery.
Yeah, that's when, exactly. That was, exactly. The two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road with me. I went and spoke at his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's kitchen. To South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people from too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And when I knew Jesse was from James, I started president.
Yeah.
And James had died.
Real, keeping it real.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Antoine, I see on our message board that Bruce Turner's saying, if the people in Hungary can rise up, so can we. Get registered and get out and vote. Take your defeatist, and it moved on me. Take your defeatist attitude, I think he was saying, and move on. I think that that's the point. It takes your defeatist attitude somewhere else. Okay, I got it now. That's Bruce Turner. I think that one of the things that, and as we were talking to some of the students that came in from around the country at the convention, the NANS convention, one of the things I think people need to learn is that struggles are a struggle. It's going to take time. And you're going to have wins and losses, ups and downs, and mountains and valleys. When you look at the, what did it take, 90-some years, almost 100 years, to break apartheid in South Africa. Nelson Mandela was in jail 27 years. And they've been fighting Orban for years, since the late 80s. They've been fighting all over the world. We're the only, well, not we, some of us are the only people that think you're supposed to do 2 marches and everything is fine.
or vote one time, and that whoever you voted for is supposed to wave a magic wand and solve all your problems. All of it is a process. And you must remember, as you move and push forward, they're pushing back against you. So like if I and National Action Network or Urban League or NAACP or whoever's out there is pushing on like a police brutality case like we did week before last in Hartford, it's not like the police union is not going to be pushing back. And I think the height of naivety is people that expect some magic wand to do it for us. It's a struggle. That's why they call it a struggle. But look at how far in our lifetimes we can go. My mother, who died in 2012, had a letter read at her funeral from Barack Obama, the first black president, honoring my mother and my work, and my mother for raising me the way she did. When my mother was growing up in Alabama, right there where we buried her, she couldn't even vote until she was in her 30s. So in one generation, yeah, there's a lot wrong, but don't play us cheap now. We have pushed the envelope a long way from where it started. Nowhere near where we need to go, but don't act like it's a trip that's not worthwhile. In fact, it's mandatory.
Well, Rev, not only is the trip mandatory, it requires our participation. And what has been consistent in all the movements that we've had that have led to success in this country and arguably around the world is there have been some key ingredients that have been consistent. It's been collective black people, men and women, on the front line. It's been young people under the age of 45, 50, ego aside, pushing for progress, not pushing for self-representation, but it's also include the black press, and it's included the black church, and it's included black organizations like NAN and others who put their ego and their own agendas to the side for the sake of our community. And I think that's where those interests have to collide again if we want to have the success that granted your mother the opportunity to have a black president to be able to write a letter of confirmation about her life and her son's life at the end of her life.
And see, I say to a lot of young people, one of the things I was so glad that we were able to announce that we purchased this new headquarters in Harlem, 5-story, was a major cultural center that had converted a firehouse, and now we own it. Closed it on Tuesday and our convention on Wednesday. Is I told them, so all of you that hear these stories about, well, Al Sharpton and them, they just out there making a name and do whatever. I wouldn't be buying a headquarters if I wasn't thinking about the future and institutionalizing of the organization. I'm not buying it for me. I'm buying it for who's going to succeed me. They'll have it a lot longer than I will. And I think that sense of permanence and stability is important. You don't invest in Harlem if you intend to leave or if you intend to just squeeze all you can and gone. All right, let's go to Ira in Washington, D.C.
Rev, can I say one thing about your purchase that I think is important that the world may miss? Is that you prioritize ownership in our community. You know the number, you know where we've gone backwards in most cases in our community? It's home ownership.
That's
it's
right.
Ownership of things that we can value and we can hold value to. You owning that building sends a bigger message than just NAN having a building its own or Sharpton buying a building. It's promoting something that we need to be teaching at the grassroots level of our community, property and home ownership, because that's how we get to create wealth and that's how we get to sustain wealth in our community.
Absolutely right. Undoubtedly right. Let me go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira.
Hey, good evening, Reverend Sharpton. Thanks for taking my call. I just got a quick 5-minute session here with you. I had something that kind of puzzled me. I had read an article in reference to peak headset, and this young lady, her name is Antoinette Gant. She was a major general in the military, and they had a pushback on her being promoted because Donald Trump didn't want to stand on the stage next to her, and she is, what they tried to do is to institute this DEI policy and all kinds of stuff to intimidate the diversity thing. And she's well qualified. She's still well qualified, but they would not stand with her as a black woman being of that status of military power, and they refuse to acknowledge that. So that's another thing that we have to deal with, this President Trump. And before I go through the second one, is this reason why he's not doing what he's supposed to do, because he's fighting not going to jail. He's not fighting because they have him. Somebody's pushing him to do these things. If he don't, that means everybody falls down. And everybody get told on, and so a lot of people won't fall down. So he has to stay, do what they say do. He don't have that sense to do this stuff. Somebody's making him do this, and that's why he's doing it, to keep him from going to jail right away, keep everybody else from going to jail after him.
I think he clearly, I almost said has an agenda. I think he has a firm, just about totalitarian view of government and a bigoted view of us. I think, no question about that. Thank you for your call. Cedric Cooper says on our live stream, that is a valuable asset, Reverend Sharpton, ownership for generations to come. I pray this generation to understand the importance of ownership. Absolutely. And we were able to go and get the financing. We have members that I've asked 100,000 of our members to pledge or raise or give $500. We're gonna pay it off before the mortgage is predicted to be paid off, and we're gonna keep purchasing. We're gonna have our chapters purchased. We need to own our community rather than complain about gentrification. Turn it around, and that's what we did. Let's go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio. Ray, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call, Rev. A couple things.
My bad, Rev. We should have went to break.
Hold on a minute. I need to take the break. I went overtime. Let me take my break. I'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, be right back.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just break. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor, and more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day, celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
And let's keep fighting, because the job is not done here. And I just feel so honored to get this award. It's not about getting an award, it's about doing the work. And let's keep up with the work.
22 years ago, Reverend Al Sharpton stood on the 2004 Democratic primary debate stage, speaking truth to power and challenging the nation to do better. Today, many of those same issues remain, reminding us how much work is still ahead.
Reverend Sharpton, why are you in this race?
Well, let me say this. First of all, I do not think that it is fair to say that there are two Americas. There are many Americas. Our only problem in America is not just class. Many of us have problems that have succumbed to class barriers, but but still have the race barriers, or the barriers of language if you're Latino, or the barriers of sexual discrimination if you are a woman or gay and lesbian. So I think it's very simplistic to just say that it's two Americas, one for the wealthy, one for the poor. Earl Graves supports my campaign. Very wealthy man, but still faces discrimination. Gays and lesbians, they may make a lot of money, they still face discrimination. Latinos that have problems because of language discrimination. So I don't think that it's as simple as class. I also think if we're talking about experience, I was talking with Bishop Brookins, who's here with me tonight. I don't see anyone that supports civil rights could support the Patriot Act. That was you're talking about a difference of direction, Senator Edwards. The Patriot Act. The Patriot Act that you supported is J. Edgar Hoover's dream. It's John Ashcroft's dream. We have police misconduct problems in California, Ohio, Georgia, New York, right now. And your legislation helps police get more power. So I think that we've got to really be honest if we're talking about change. Change how and for who. That's why I'm in this race.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive on tomorrow night and beyond. Young America, hold your head high now. We can win. You must never stop dreaming. Face reality, yes, but don't stop with the way things are. Dream of things as they ought to be. Dream. Face pain, but love, hope, faith, and dreams will help you rise above the pain. Use hope and imagination as weapons of survival and progress, but you keep on dreaming, young America. Dream of peace. Peace is rational and reasonable. War is irrational in this age and unwinnable. Dream of teachers who teach for life and not for living. Dream of doctors who are concerned more about public health than private wealth. Dream of lawyers more concerned about justice and the judgeship. Dream of preachers who are concerned more about prophecy than profiteering. Dream on the high road with sound values. You must never surrender to inequality. Women.
Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
Because I have a dream today.
But they can't kill the dreamer.
Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton time. It's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. You need to keep it real with Reverend Al Sharpton right here on Uber TV. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is. You know, every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day
on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, to call in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton.
Happy 20th anniversary to Reverend Al Sharpton on 20 years of Keeping It Real. 2 decades of truth-telling, fearless advocacy, and keeping the people informed and empowered. Thank you for always speaking power to justice and standing firm for what's right. Here's to 20 years of impact and many more to come.
It's simple.
Reverend Sharpton, good to see you here tonight. By our count at WMUR, you've only been here once in 2003.
You counted wrong.
Okay.
You must be using the Florida Republicans count.
Nevertheless, as far as your visits are concerned, you have been here far less often than your colleagues here who have gone through the paces, met with the voters, done the grassroots style of campaigning that the voters of New Hampshire are expecting and looking for. Why shouldn't those very same voters not think of you as disrespecting them by not coming here and doing the same thing?
Well, I think, first of all, I've been here several times.
I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Antoine, before going back to the phones and the message board, there is a lot of what is called dark money that is now being dropped in a lot of primaries and I would suspect a lot of general elections. And I think the danger is that they come in late and try to overwhelm certain opponents by just a blitz of ads and social media the last 10 days. How does a candidate counter being ambushed by dark money who may represent some very wealthy people that are against the interests of a given community?
I think the candidates have to tell the truth about their record, and they have to do a better job of exposing the weak points the weaknesses of their opponent. If you really want to stop dark money, then you got to end Citizens United. That comes when you win elections. The second thing I would say is that dark money is only bad when it works against you. But there are some people who proudly accept, quote-unquote, dark money because they cannot get whatever light money means. And so I think it works for us sometimes. It works against us sometimes. Here's where I'm at, and I've said this publicly, and I don't mind saying it here, and it may be a little different than folks in my party. The people who complain the loudest, mostly the progressives, about dark money are the ones who usually benefit from the dark money by way of PACs and all these other things, and they hamstring organizations like the DNC and others when they say, well, they put these restrictions on candidates saying don't take corporate PAC money, don't take this type of money, don't take that type of money, and then we get into a general election and then we're outspent 4-1 because Republicans take corporate PAC money, they take certain dollars from certain interests in the political film. Then we get outspent, and then we say, well, we got a money problem in politics. And so I think we have to be very strategic and methodical about how we deal with the dark and the light money questions. Corporations or corporate PAC or individuals who donate to that PAC, $10, $15, whatever it is, out of their check in order to represent their interests. I don't think that's bad. But at the same time, there are a lot of people in my party who use these measurement tests to say it is bad. Now, so I think we've got to have some honest dialogue and conversations about what the money, how money plays a pivotal role in politics. And I'll give you one last example, Reb. If you look at the amount of money that President Trump's organization has raised for him to use in the midterm elections, we will likely be outspent 2 or 3 to 1. And you still got people in our party saying, well, we're not going to take corporate PAC money, or the DNC or the DCCC or Jeffrey shouldn't take certain type of money. And so the question going to be when we're getting outspent and we're getting hammered online and everywhere else, then the question is going to be, well, what are Democrats saying? What's our message? And those are the kind of things we got to have honest family conversations about.
And non-emotional, direct, because the goal is to win. Let's go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. Ray, keeping it real with Sharpton and C-Right.
You're talking to Ray right now.
Can you hear me, Rev?
Yeah. Ray.
Yeah, thanks for. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm holding you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, thanks for taking my call. Ray, Rev, I want to say a couple of things, and I got a question for you, and I got a question for your guest. First of all, you know they threw Byron Donalds out on the Sunday shows, and he looked like an idiot because here he is trying to get Swalwell and Gonzalez out of Congress when he voted for a convicted felon 34 times, 34 count felon. So he supports.
Huh? But that ain't gonna help me. They're not picking up.
If it wasn't for an Al Sharpton, perhaps there would not be a Byron Donalds having the opportunity to speak on platforms that he's able to speak on as a black person. Forget about a Republican for a second. So I'll just say that on Reverend Sharpton's behalf.
Yeah, I'm here now, and I had Byron Donalds on my show, and he completely tried to defend stuff that just was, even some of his own supporters are saying didn't make sense. He's against DEI, against diversity, when he benefited from it. He's against the civil rights laws. And as I told him right on the show, I said, you are the pinup boy of what civil rights made possible. You are living in the South, running for office based on the Voting Rights Act that gave your parents the right to vote, married to a white woman, where you'd have been lynched for that years ago. Oh, you trying to be cute? No, I'm trying to be factual. So how do you eat off the table of those that paved the way and then turn around and spit on those that sponsored you? Donald Trump didn't sponsor you. He was opposed to you. He was found by the Justice Department under the Republicans of housing discrimination. But there ain't nothing new. Let me tell you something. Way I agree with Disco Brian. You have your people on the far right and your people on the far left, and both of them are more caught up in their own
situations, opportunities, and trying to make noise, and in some cases, some of them trying just to get a following, than they are about the people. Because it doesn't make sense to lie about where you are in life, and it doesn't make sense to have strategies that you ultimately don't care whether you win or lose. And I think that's the problem, Ray.
Yeah, but if this is for your guest, because I thought a lot about this, and I talked with your guest before about the young voters. Now, the young voters issue as opposed to the older voter issues. The young voters, they worry about groceries, like older, school loans, gas, buying a house that they can't afford right now. And they're not worried about reparations because they're busy living their lives. And they don't know enough about the Supreme Court or Congress enough to change lives. The older voters, they worry about gas and groceries, and they worry about refinancing their homes, their 401ks, their pensions, their Social Security, Supreme Court, and Congress. So my question is, how do you find a candidate that can actually address both concerns from both groups of people? Do they need like a Charlie Kirk type person that can appeal to the young voters, or a Mondani that can appeal to the young voters? And if so, who is out there on the Democrat side that could run for president?
Well, I think there are a ton of them, and many of them were on display at National Action Network.
Yep.
On the past several days with Reverend Sharpton. So that's number one. And number two, I don't think there's a magic bullet for the quote unquote young vote. I think different people get their advice and get their information from different places. That's the difference in the diversity of the Democratic Party versus the constant straight line of the Republican Party. You go to a Republican Party meeting, whether it's young or not so young, everyone is going to leave there saying the same thing. Everybody's going to be pretty much dressed the same. They're going to think the same. They're going to tweet the same. They're going to respond the same. You go to a Democratic meeting, you got to have a message for the young folks, the not so young, the gays, the not gays, the women, the men, the LGBTQ plus, all these various things that Republicans don't have to worry about. So our messaging and our mechanism and our mechanics are a lot different than Republicans on the surface and beneath the surface. And that's why we've got to have a holistic approach. But the through and through for Democrats are they are trusted voices, trusted institutions, and trusted things that have survived the test of time, like NAN and others. And I think we cannot take our foot off the gas on that regard. We've got to foundationally strengthen those things because those things have been consistent young for the young and the not so young.
And let me say this on that, Ray, and I think that Antoine Seawright's an excellent example of that. Sometimes people try to make young people monolithic, like they make old people monolithic. Everybody young don't think the same way, and everybody old don't think the same way. So you've got to be very careful in playing to, quote, the youth vote, that you're thinking all young people think the same way. You have young black Republicans, and you have young black Democrats, and you have young blacks that don't believe in the system at all. But so what? You got old folks the same way. And I tell candidates, stand up for what you believe and sell your beliefs to the public to get in. But if you try to be just all the way young, the old folk ain't gonna vote for you. You still lose. If you're all the way old and can't attract young, you still lose. And I think that rather than try and compartmentalize what you're about, stand up and be what you're about, which is why I'm committed to building an institution that lasts way beyond my life. And it will be an incubator for young folks in civil rights, as we have our youth huddle now, an incubator for young folks in politics, incubator for young people in business. And that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what my mentors, like Reverend William Jones, like Jesse Jackson, did for me. It's from one generation to another. But to tell old folks to shut up when they got the wisdom and to tell young folks to sit down when they have the energy don't make sense. But the question is, do they stand up for what's right? I don't want a young Uncle Tom over an old wise person that's doing the right thing. Just because you young don't mean I'm going to support you if you're what you rep. Byron Daniels is young. I don't think I would support him if I lived in Florida. Well, I guess he's not that young, but younger than me.
but he ain't young enough to get my vote. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. See right. Be right back. Keeping it real.
Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden.
It's simple.
That I want to end. He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
I'll tell you that.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked.
So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we're the children of people that have been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary McLeod Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first, and we'll be last. We know who we are. But Reverend, it looks bad now. Look at Iran. Look at what's going on in Minnesota. Look on. Yeah, but I was raised by them to realize that after storms, if we do the right thing in the storm, if we organize, if we register, if we do what we're supposed to do, there's always a rainbow coming out. The rainbow don't show until the storm is over. The rainbow gonna come out in November. The rainbow gonna come out in 28. We gonna fix these tricks in 26 and march through the gates in 28. We didn't come this far to turn around now. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back.
Voting rights! Voting rights.
Everyone look here.
Say it again, Ms. Pearl. Voting rights. Voting rights. One more time, Ms. Pearl. Voting rights. There we go. Voting rights. Voting rights.
Voting rights.
Voting rights.
Voting rights.
When do we want it?
Now. When do we need it?
Now. Yesterday. What do we want?
Voting rights.
When do we need it?
Now.
What do we want?
Voting rights.
When do we need it?
Now.
All right.
No justice! No justice! 62 years ago today, Martin marched in Washington. 62 years later, the dream is not dead.
I'm here because I must be here. Democracy is not there for the pig, and you have to fight for democracy. That's what it is. What Trump will erase, we will replace.
Is the dreamers in many cases have reversed and tried to turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
Robert Culp used to do a show with Bill Cosby, I Spy, and he did a documentary on breadbasket, Robert Culp.
Oh, wow.
You need to see that documentary.
Real
Great.
Keepin' It
Absolutely. I lived this. I didn't read this.
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back.
Not new to this. I ain't new.
Antoine Seawright is our co-host. Let's go to the sage of the South, Brother Jihad. Brother Jihad, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Seawright.
How you doing? How you brothers doing?
Doing well, doing well.
Good. Congratulations on a phenomenal convention.
Thank you.
And you know, the most of the time, and this is to go along with the question that was asked: do they benefit from you? And the fact of the matter, they benefit from you and Democrats.
Right.
Most of the issues Democrats fight for are all people's issues.
That's right.
They benefit everybody. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, they do benefit. They just don't know. Well, they even know sometimes. They just don't care because they have some other controversial issues that they want to push. But bottom line is, anything we fight for as Democrats is for everybody. Everybody, even reparations, they will benefit if we got reparations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They will have the positive that come out of that particular situation will benefit the country. You know what I mean? Will benefit neighborhoods, will benefit schools, will benefit cities. You know what I mean? So I just want to add that quick thing to it. But I'd like to offer a different opinion on the peace talks, so-called peace talks. I think they were successful. And I think they were successful because they were never meant to be successful in the way that we mean success, or that we thought success. To even send Vance, matter of fact, to send Kushner and Whitlock, or whatever his name is, and then Kushner to negotiate political challenges between countries. That's a negative right there on its own. Those two men are known for financial business.
Right.
Period. You know what I mean? So the whole idea or insult in the very beginning of sending Kushner and the other guy, they never intended for the true success to come out of it. Now, how do I prove this, Reverend Al? He's on the news every hour here in Atlanta, talking about Iran refused to stop the quest for nuclear weapons. Now, we had an agreement with President Obama, right?
Right.
Right? And the nuclear agencies was visiting Iran on a regular basis, inspecting them, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. Right. And also the recent discussion they had in before this last one, the president or the representative from Oman, I think it was, said that they had agreed on the no nuclear weapons. And the previous leader they just murdered had put out a fatwa saying that the country would not pursue nuclear armaments. So all of this information is clearly known and visible. But yet they still say every day they refuse to say they won't develop a nuclear weapon.
Right.
Now, either we're stupid or he's stupid. Well, he's stupid. So we shouldn't be stupid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah. And what they do is they just represent the same story or narrative that they need so that they can do what? Israel has done now in Lebanon what they did to Gaza. 1 million people misplaced. The boundaries, they said Netanyahu went to Lebanon yesterday to view the new territory that they are annexing to Israel now. So the goal is to do what they're doing, but to bamboozle us with these reasoning.
Yeah.
Now, he's on there talking about the president, that he's stopping Iran from blackmailing people to use the Gulf. To get the oil, charging them a fee. Now, the other day, they said that he thought the fee was a good idea. Him and America could split the fee.
Yeah, that's what he said.
This guy's crazy. This guy's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the reality of it, this man is absolutely crazy. And we have to recognize that there's no sanity to him, and we have to do as the Hungarians did. They left no dispute whatsoever that they wanted to get rid of that leader. He won by 3/4, I think it was. He won by a wide margin.
Yeah.
And most of that margin, from what I'm understanding, was young people.
Yes, sir.
Young people.
That's correct.
You know what I mean? So we have to follow that model, learn from that energy, and we have to leave no doubt, because remember when Trump was running before, Elon Musk told him not to worry or something like that we got this under control? And then Trump repeated it on the air about, Elon said something about, we got this. You know what I mean? That was when he put the $300 million in and whatever other trick they did with the electorate, in my opinion.
Right.
But they intend to do the same thing now. That's why they're telling people, don't worry about it, don't come out, and et cetera. The only way we can offset that is if we have astronomical numbers. So I commend you on your tour. We'd love to see you when you get to Atlanta. We'll be right there standing with you. And keep up the good work, and we love you, Reverend Al.
I love you back.
And Antoine, we love you too, Antoine.
I appreciate it. And let me say this. Thank you for your call, Jihad, as always. Let me say this. When we talk about young people, Antoine Seawright, younger man, I don't know that we can consider him a youth, but he's certainly a younger man. Don't underestimate, I don't think we give enough credit where it's due, that there are those young people his age that is as astute as one can be, as he obviously is, that went to Washington and cashed in their chips of political acumen with the Republicans. He comes from a Republican state, South Carolina. So for this young man, I'm talking about Antoine Seawright, to cast his lot in a state that really he knows statewide will basically be red for a while, get under the mentorship of an old sage like Jim Clyburn, who was at the convention, and fight in Washington with us, it is not to his advantage, it is to his beliefs. And he'd be a case in point, an example of what young people need to follow. That's why I say you ain't got to tell them to follow older guys like me. You got people, their generation, that has sacrificed to do something. I'm sure Antoine makes a decent living, but he would have got a lot more selling out to Trump. They don't buy blacks anymore, Antoine. They rent them. There's a rent-a-town program. And they would have rented you for 4 years. But you cast your lot with your beliefs, and that's what we be giving credit to. And not somebody hollering and screaming, and because they loud, we give them more attention than the ones that's really moving us forward. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, Seawright. Be right back.
Time is up. The IRS is in full
It's simple.
I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about it is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others. The way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself.
This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it? Don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now. And we had a real packed weekend this weekend. I showed both nights different clips of the presidential candidates at Nan's convention, had commentary on it. Antoine was on, and others. And then I, on last night, delve a little bit into what we've got to do about our finances. I wanted to get the reading on where we were in terms of the economy, but also where you and I need to be in terms of our own personal custodian of funds. And I think that we had a good session on that. So watch Politics Nation every Saturday and Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice is meeting at Mother AME Zion Church. Just a couple more weeks. We've already bought our new headquarters, and we're sprucing it up, getting it ready. And in the next couple of weeks, be moving our Saturday rally and all of our activities. Huddle for our youth. They call their youth meeting weekly, the Huddle. And we're going to have a poetry night reading there every week. It's our house. It's our building. We're going to have a weekly poetry night, weekly jazz night. I'm going to have that building hopping every night. So be at the Saturday Action Rally on Saturday morning. I'll be there this Saturday, 137th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem, near 7th Avenue. And make sure you that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television or on YouTube/NAN or on NationalActionNetwork.net live stream. And let me go back to the phones, Antoine. Let's go to D in Northwest Atlanta. D, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hi, Rev.
Hi.
Hi, Antoine. Two good shows this past weekend, and we always enjoy seeing Antoine. So have him on more often, Reverend Al. We enjoy Antoine.
Yes, ma'am.
I am a student of history, and for those listeners who haven't made the connection, Iran was once known as Persia.
Right.
And Persia has existed for 5,000 years. This year, the United States is celebrating 250. What civilization has lasted the longest? You know, Iran, Persia is nothing to play with. They have seen people like our country come and go over these last 5,000 years. Persia is mentioned several times in the Bible. I don't think the United States is. So Trump needs to stop playing, and he needs to stop playing God. When I taught third grade, there was a little story the children would read about the fisherman and his wife. And the fisherman found this special fish, and the fish said, "If you throw me back in, I'll grant you 3 wishes." It was something like that. But anyway, first he wished for a big house, then he wished for a grander house, then he wanted a palace. He kept on wishing and wishing until eventually he wanted to be God. And they sent him right back where he started.
Wow.
Something needs to be. Yeah, it's called The Fisherman and His Wife. Some of the children your age and younger, they don't let the children do fairy tales anymore. But anyway, Trump reminded me of that fairy tale. Antoine said something about 20 minutes ago that I thought about, and it is in terms of winning the next presidential election. This last election, Reb, Kamala had a lot of money. But here in Atlanta, day after day, hour after hour, I saw these ads with Trump, and there were none to counteract what he was saying. So I'm hoping that in the future they will make a better use of the money. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely true. And, you know, Antoine, you are a strategist, and there was a lot of murmurs about better use of money. She had 107 days. She inherited some of the people that was working there. How would you, if she ran again or someone else run, how would you tell them to spend their money in terms of the election?
Well,
Well, I would tell them to over prioritize African American engagement, and I would tell them to overemphasize the importance of African American consultants with decision making abilities and budgets. Number one. Number two, I would tell them to not so much focus on the high tech angle of engagement, but the high touch. Believe it or not, Republicans have stolen our art of high touch engagement, and that's why they have somewhat mastered at least under the Trump era of grassroots engagement. Number three, I wouldn't so much focus on celebrities and getting them engaged and involved, but everyday people and trusted voices being your mechanism, and sometimes that comes along with investment. So I would say those things to the vice president, and that would include spending money combating misinformation, disinformation that was specifically targeted to our community. I think we take for granted the idea that just because we say it, that people are going to believe it, or because they say it and we think it's crazy, that people won't believe it. The pieces of misinformation, disinformation that went out about Democrats, our brand, and about Kamala Harris was once in a generation. We did not combat that. We just made the assumption everybody thought Trump was crazy and people wouldn't vote for him, and voila, he becomes president again. So those are kind of some of the core things I would use as investment in our if I were Kamala Harris running against the president.
And I think that I agree with that. Let's go to Leon in Dallas, Texas. Leon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, the last couple of callers made some important points. I kind of wanted to see if I can fine tune that a little bit. The lady, the madam before me mentioned that Trump thought he was God. Well, he does. Parenthetically, figuratively, he does believe that. He doesn't. He's not a spiritual person. If he was, he wouldn't come on Easter Day and use all that profanity and talk about destroying civilizations. And he's not going to stop until he is stopped. He is compelled to stop. He is forced to stop. Even some of his most ardent supporters, Candace Owens says he needs to be in a nursing home. Alice Jones says he's nuts. Marjorie Taylor Greene, well, we already know how she feels. Tucker Carlson says he's nuts. So some of the staunchest Republican supporters that he once had are condemning him. The rest of the country need to understand that this guy needs to go before he does irreparable harm to the country. I mean, Joe Kent said there was no imminent threat for Iran to build a nuclear weapon. And as Jihad said, the Supreme Ayatollah had issued an order, which is law in Iran, that they can't build a nuclear weapon. So all of this stuff that was provoked by Israel and was ignored or vetoed by previous administrations was used as a pretext, and now everything is completely screwed up. Now, how is blocking the Strait of Hormuz from Iran and not blocking the other part of it, how's it opening it up? I don't understand that. So all these illogical, bizarre concepts that he's coming up with shows he's not mentally fit for office. In addition to that, Mark Warner said a couple of days ago, like I had mentioned this 2 weeks ago, that Trump is going to come up with a cock and bull story about 2020 election in order to use as a pretext to not hold this upcoming midterm. Because as I think Mr. Seawright mentioned this, or one of your guests, he wants a 100-year administration. And so we cannot sit back and say, oh, it wouldn't happen, because it's already happened twice. And we have to take this seriously, not just the black community, the country as a whole, because everybody's paying $5 and $6 and whatever they're paying for gas. Everybody's got people in the military whose life might be on the line. Everybody has interest in this. And this country needs to get over this racial stuff and start thinking about what's good for the country. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in now. What do you say about that, Al?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think that clearly, the bad news is that Trump and the Republicans are in power. The good news is you don't have to guess about where they are and where they stand. They tell you that every day. So I think that it is very exposing those that will stand up and fight them and those that will stand up and fight each other, which only benefits them, which is why I think that this bridge in our community between different religions, Muslim, Christian, Baptist, Pentecostal, it doesn't matter, and ages. We celebrated at our convention last week the 35th anniversary of National Action Network, 1991 I founded it. I don't even think Antoine's 35 years old. So, I mean, if this show is an example of how we need to link together because it is not your age or your stage, whatever you can stand on. It is your agenda. Many people got a microphone and they ain't saying nothing. Many people get old and not wise. Many people are young and use their energy wrong. It is your direction, is what you believe in, is what you do. Antoine?
Rev, you can't say it any better. We've got, I think, the problem is, Rev, people are not intentional with their purpose. And if we find ourselves being intentional with our purpose, a lot of the issues we find ourselves grappling with for generations in our community, they will quickly subside, and we won't have to keep fighting these same battles. But to the caller's point about Trump's trying to make this the last election that as we know it, that's no secret. It's in Project 2025.
Right.
They have put out their own manual that says that, 100-year policy agenda. And I think that the longer he drags this war out, the more he's going to make the case for not having an election because we're in the midst of a war. And it's no secret that they're doing voting rights at the Supreme Court. He's talking about the executive order, suspending mail-in ballots. He's doing all this thing to reconfigure how we do elections in this country and to sow chaos, confusion, and dysfunction around the one sacred thing we've always agreed on as Americans in this country, that's elections. I think our leaders need to pay more attention to how he is carefully doing this strategically.
Absolutely right. Thank you for your call, Leon. And I think I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have all of you that are on hold to call in tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened, and you that wrote on the message board. I appreciate all of your messages. We'll get to a lot of them tomorrow. Let us get ready to step on out of here. Let me thank everybody everywhere that supported and came to the National Action Network convention. Special. It meant a lot. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.